Well, that's us back live. Good evening, good afternoon, good night, wherever you're watching from, folks. Welcome back to the channel, the New Look channel, the New Look GP26, the big green and black. I love it. I love it. They've got the hoodies. Look, I'm so proud of my hoodie, like I really am. Honest to God. Arn, welcome back. Did you have a good summer?
Yes, mate, I did. Welcome
What?
back.
Yes.
Got over the playoff bloody heartache, but sure,
Uh,
I was there. I did see it.
do, do we talk
And
about
I
that?
wouldn't
Do
re
we talk about?
I wouldn't recommend walking out of Wembley, on the end of a defeat. Like it's especially when it's pissing the rain as well.
I forgot you were there. I
Mm.
actually forgot that you were there. Mate, please tell me you at least had a wee tiny tear just with the atmosphere and the pleasure of being there at a Wembley final.
Like, it was a brilliant atmosphere. I took plenty of photos, plenty of videos. I was at Wembley from about 11 o'clock that morning. So right up until 3 o'clock. The kick off. So I seen more or less everything. Fans going into the stadium. I was around Wembley. I tried to get a drink, couldn't get a drink anywhere. You know, all the bars were full. They weren't letting people in. You had to pre-book. But apart from that, I got a beer inside the stadium, and just wasn't meant to
Mate,
be. But
that was
sure,
fun. A
I have to
lifetime
go.
experience.
I have to go one better this year.
Better still, let's not go to the playoffs. Let's just kind of put down to the side. We'll just go number one. We'll go up. Who likes
It
Wembley
has to be.
anyway? So tell me this.
It
You were
has
at
to
the
be this
ground.
year.
Yeah, it has to be. Tell me this. Who was the louder fans at Wembley? Honest opinion. Now,
Uh,
honestly, I know we're Leeds and we're biased, but realistically, who was the loudest of the two fans?
I think both fans were as loud as each other. Like I thought, obviously I was in the Leeds end, and you could obviously hear more. But you could hear the Southampton fans as well. And
Mm-hmm.
they did bring plenty of numbers. So it was two big clubs, and it was a flip of a coin. You know, the way you look
Yeah.
at it, we're both sort of even. I know we finished above them all season, but I think if you look at it, their unbeaten run compared to our, what was it, 13 matches in a row. Do you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
sort of evened out. But like, as I said, flip of a coin could have went either way. Fortunately, it went to them, but I think it's only going to put us back a year.
Who wants a Premier League anyway with VAR? You know what I'm like, but anyway. So you had a good summer. What did you do? Did you get away anywhere nice, or just kind of played football yourself, chilled around the house, working away?
Just working away, mate. Went over to Newcastle on a stag do. Newcastle, some city. Like, highly recommend.
I heard
Anybody
that.
loves a drink, definitely get to Newcastle. Like, you know,
Brilliant.
good time. But apart from that, I'm just waiting on the season starting again.
We took a we as the channel, like, we took a break. As I say, it's rumors galore when it comes to preseasons, and especially with the 49ers telling nobody nothing. People are panicking, people are going nuts, but we'll get into it. We'll go straight to the first big news of the summer, right? Obviously, we're going to build up the way the summer went. Red Bull, right? Red Bull's in the door. Shock news out of the blue. What was your initial thoughts?
Russell Fords were, I'd heard wee whispers maybe 3, 4 years ago, and then there was some talk about QSI as well.
That's right.
The Qatar Sports Investment. That owns PSG. You'd heard tiny rumors in the background, and then I was sort of thinking to myself, it'll probably never happen because Red Bull they love a full rebrand, or they get round it by RB, you know. But I just don't think I didn't think it would work in England. And then out of the blue, it just blew up my phone. It was just like Red Bull, Red Bull, Red Bull,
I
and I
was,
was sort of thinking, "Flip, this is big. Red
yeah.
Bull sort of, Formula One, obviously the watch brand, they do the brand the watches, with tag, and
Didn't
obviously
even know that.
they own 3 or 4 clubs. They've got a big scouting network, and obviously they sell plenty of energy drinks.
Keeps me going at my age. But yeah, I was in work actually when I heard it, and I went, "Ugh." It was like my jaw dropped and went, hold on a minute. Red Bull, two emotions in my head. Is it now? Is it now RB Leeds United, and is it RB Ellen Road, or is it? Oh my God, we're the richest club in the world. We've got all the finances we need under the sun. I'm so excited. We're going to build a world class. That was my two thoughts. Overdrive of what was going on. I had no idea if it was coming or going. The
Another
bigger
thing that
picture. Go ahead.
Another
Sorry.
thing that surprised me, sorry as well. Do you remember the Kevin Augustin? We signed him off a Red Bull team, and there was a big
That's
court
right.
case and all as well. It was kind of like, it's that, surely, you know what I mean? It's kind of like you're looking at it going flip, the
Yeah.
court cases, and then all of a sudden they become the,
It's a bit,
the
when you think of Red Bull, though, you think of top leagues, the top of the German league, the top of the Austrian league, top of the say the MLS, but the bigger clubs in the they don't go for like championship side. I never would have thought they would have came down to the championship to kind of put a stake in the club, put a sponsor in a kit, and say, listen, keep everything the way it is. We're here just to kind of get our name on the shirt, do the investment in the background, have our part. And I was like, okay, this is ticking the right boxes from here. I could play along with this. It was absolutely brilliant. Like all in all, Aaron, thoughts? Yes, no, and Red Bull.
for me, yes, it has to be yes, purely and simply because the money side of it. Football's all about money now, and if you don't have money, you can't compete. So for me, it's a plus.
Absolutely, absolutely. Which brings us on to the Leeds United fans going into meltdown. The new kit, the new kit. Are we not only are we putting the color red on it, we're putting the color red on it in the word red. Now, this could make or break a lot of people going mad. But what's your thoughts are on the logo? A lot of people says they don't mind the word red, but keep the logo kind of all white or all the one color. From their traditional red and yellow circle, like what is it, a sun or a moon in the background? Um, did you really care, or did you take it personal?
See, to be honest, I didn't really care. The reason I didn't care was because if you look at the name, the name's Red Bull, so it's going to be red. You
Yeah.
know, you can't. You know what I mean? It's if they're putting the money in, they're not going to let fans dictate. Who's, if not to go on the shirt. You have to remember, Leeds played in red.
Kite,
Maybe
red
what
kite.
50 years ago for one game. I've seen a clip. They played in a full red kit. So, I mean, if anybody can correct me on that there, this is
Mm.
literally a tiny bit of red on the shirt. It's
But
nothing,
do
you know
we
what I mean?
not
It's
have
not
a
a full
sponsor?
red kit.
Yeah, did we not have a sponsor in League One where it was red kite, and the word
Yes,
red
we
was
did.
there
Yeah,
with the color red? So
yeah.
this is just repeating history. Where why not make the fuss then when we were in League One, but now we're this big team in the Championship? It's a big deal. Listen, see anything that comes along and helps the clubs financially. As you said there a couple of minutes ago, a Red Bull coming in, football clubs cannot survive without investment nowadays. The way the FFP is, the way the rules and regulations are, the way the money is these days, we need the money. Take it any means necessary. Obviously, don't solicit ourselves out, but
The
be
only,
professional
the
about it.
only, the only issue I would have is if they change the name of the team or they changed Allen Road. Allen Road has to be in it.
Yeah, but could you not do it? Could you not do it like Ellen Road sponsored by Red Bull?
Yeah, but Allen Road has to be in it.
Ellen Road sponsored
Yeah,
by Red Bull or funded by Red Bull. Like instead of just going Red Bull Arena, Ellen Road sponsored by Red Bull. Done.
yeah,
Nice and simple. Everybody's happy. Red Bull get their name all over the place. Elmo keeps his name. The Leeds fans are financially stable. The Leeds club's financially stable. We've got an investor through the door. Money, money, money. In. We're good to go. That's what I thought.
yeah.
So I am excited with Red Bull, and it's a four-year deal, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah,
It
four
was a
four
four-year
years.
deal over
Uh,
60 million or something like that. Again, apparently, as Pragmarag says, it's all going to be funded into the club. We'll see how that's gone so far anyway. But what we'll do, it gets into then the outcast. So the end of the season, all the lone players left. So Connor Roberts has gone back. I forgot half the players who were there. What do you call him? Anthony. He's gone back.
yeah, he's way
Uh,
back to Bournemouth.
he's come back to Bournemouth. There was another lonely in Rodon went back for now, but obviously we bought him back, which is fantastic. We'll get to that in a bit. But then that means it also reverses. So the outcasts came back, not officially to the club, but on paper they were officially 100% Leeds United players, not loaned out to anybody. You had Lorente, you had Rocca, you had Jack Harrison, you had Vober, Christensen, A. Rison, Arnson, That's it, isn't it? That was the main loanees that went out. Now, obviously, we did get rid
Christensen,
of
you said him.
Christensen. Yeah, said him. So they're officially now 100% Leeds players. I know that didn't come back from preseason or anything yet, but that's Emmons back. So technically, what I'm trying to say is they're now officially back. They're now officially getting paid by Leeds. So their wages are being funded by Leeds. So that means our wage bins went up. Even if it's for a month of while they're at the club, we're paying their wages monthly, their monthly wage. So for the likes of
Yeah,
Lorente, Rocket, they're on big money. They're on Premier League player money. They're not taking the pay cut. They haven't agreed to it. So they're being paid big money for the month that they're here. We're paying their wages again, right?
and not only that there, but the club aren't making any money throughout the summer, so technically it's
There's no,
you
no,
know
no.
it's
That's it. No, you're
no
100%
income.
right. There's no income. There's no fans at the ground with the tickets and stuff like that, which is crap. Um, Arnson made a statement again. I know this has been covered till the cows come home, but this is our wee take on it. Arnson came back and the story about his granddad came in about you promised Leeds, you have unfinished business. What do you think of Arnson coming back? Now, try and take I'm a Leeds fan, heart and soul out of it, and think of it as a Daniel Farke, I'm a Leeds manager. I got to do the best for the club, right? Thoughts on Arnson? Do you think he'll absolutely nail it or flop in the championship?
Well, I'll start off last summer when, to be fair to him, he made his mind up early. You know, he said what he was going to do. Whereas the likes of, we'll get on to Uber later and the R ones, but a lot of them messed around, said they were staying and then went. So
Yeah,
I wouldn't say I'd give him credit, but I'd say, at least, he made his mind up early. He told the club his stand and he made his decision. So as much as I didn't agree with it at the time, I thought it was very bad. If you look back now, he made his mind up early. He didn't mess the manager about. Plus, not only that there, but I think he left actually before Farke arrived.
yeah. He was
So
like, "Season's over. See you later."
yeah,
That
yeah.
was
So
literally it.
that's yeah. So that's my view of last. Looking back now, last summer I was annoyed at the time, but now I can sort of, looking with hindsight and stuff, you can sort of see, what happened. So that was
Yeah,
that. And then obviously, I'm coming back. I think he'd be a good championship player. I think he'll
yeah.
uh
Because
number 10,
the difference is with Arnson, it's in the championship. It's a cutthroat. It's digging the heels in it. It's dirty football. It's like not Sunday league football. That's really the wrong word. But you know what I mean? It's a lot more physical game than it is in the Premier League. Premier League's more technical. I think a championship's more physical. In the Premier League,
yeah,
Arnson fell over himself every other touch.
yeah.
So my concern is with him is he going to stay on his feet? If he stays on his feet, I think he will be fantastic in the championship. I think his passing ability is fantastic. His playmaking is fantastic. His running and dribbling is fantastic when he stays on his feet. If Farka bleeds that out of him and just said, no matter what, don't fall, and he does that, I honestly think he's going to be fantastic. And what that might do as well, obviously we'll get into it a wee bit later, but that might leave the door open for maybe Rudder going out the wings and Aronson staying
Yeah.
at the number 10
Well,
spot.
I was just gonna say about Aronson. I think he'll do well in the championship. I think he maybe realised, when he went last season. I know another thing. The reason he went was for Champions League football as well. So
Mm-hmm.
technically, you have to look at it that way as well. So he wanted to play in the Champions League. He didn't want to play in the Championship. Obviously now his options have sort of, thinned. I think there's a bit of interest in him in the summer, but nothing concrete. And then he's made his mind up early again this year.
Mm-hmm.
So
Do you think
you know
those
what I
club
mean?
interest? I think the club interest is just PR talk to say clubs want me, but I'm going to stay, or is it more in the background? It was like nobody else wants me. I have no choice to stay.
I don't know. I think somebody, some team out there would have given him a chance. I think he maybe just wants to come back and
Hopefully,
obviously unfinished
I,
business. And
I'm definitely hoping for that. That I really do. I'm hoping it's not just nobody wants me. I'm stuck here. I wouldn't
well,
want
you
that.
have to remember, not only that, but he's an American international as well. So that sort of boosts
Mhm.
his profile up for somebody coming in, to take him as well. So, but again,
Yeah,
he's made his mind up again early this year. He says he wants to stay. So, last year he wanted to go. So,
he's
it was
staying.
early on, and then he's getting his head down
when
pre-season.
he when it all first happened, and I was very pessimistic. I was always like, oh, he's staying like Vober did, and then when Vober got the first option, he pissed off. So I was thinking in the back of my head, Arnson's going to do the same thing. I'll stay, boss. I'll stay, boss. What? Florentina want me? See ya.
I
That's what I
don't
was
think
thinking.
he. I don't think. I don't think he get away with it too much this year. I think if he did that, he'd be that much bad publicity. So there would. I
I
think
know,
last year because of the relegation, he had a kind of an excuse. Whereas
but the
this year
club
he
was
said
just
he's
shambles.
staying. We're in. He knows where we
Mm.
are. You know, I think there'd be too much bad publicity for him if he did that.
The club was just a shambles in that relegation. It was bad management, bad owners, bad tactics, bad staff, bad everything. Like, remember the day we got that assistant manager from Man United, never even played one game, and then got sacked a week later? It's just the whole club was just an absolute piss take. Under Bielsa, we
But
became
see,
everyone's second team.
I
The
but
everyone's laughing stock.
see when a team's nosediving towards the championship, you see how many clubs, panic, do that there, bring in a manager, doesn't work, bringing our manager in, doesn't work. You're hoping that somebody will, it's like a rescue mission,
Yeah,
and I think that's the way we were going. We're just trying to hold on to the Premier League. And then not only that there, but was it Radrizzani, he was looking for a bigger, pay packet, so he was trying all he could, but in the end, sure, we went down and he didn't get what he wanted.
yeah, I agree. We have Vober. We'll get on to. Hold on one second. My
Yes.
apologies for not blanking you out there. So anyway, yeah. So the outcasts are coming back. I don't want Vober there. I just don't want. I don't care if he's going to be 10 times the best defender we've got. I just don't want Vober there for the way he did that last year. To me, that's a snake. Like, just have the set of balls and turn around and go, listen, I don't want to play for the club. I'm bigger than that, and go. See this here, I'll sit down with you, Farka. I'll be the new captain, Farka. Yes, I'll do the kits, Farka, no problem. Up yours, no way I go. I hated that. I hated I really hated that. And Christensen, I just think Christensen's like a Down syndrome cat. I don't think he knows if he's coming or going. He's just, oh, whatever.
Well,
Christensen.
the thing, I thought the same about Vober, but now I'm looking at it from a football point of view, and I'm thinking, like, if we want to put Ampadu in midfield,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're going to have to go and get a centre back if Vober goes. So at least with Vober, he's an Austrian international. He's played at the highest level in Germany. He did probably do okay for us in the Premier League. But I personally think we should hold on to him and put Ampadu then in midfield. It could be him, Strike, and Rodon. Battling it out for the centre back
Spot
spot.
with Ampadu as a really backup if you need it.
Yeah,
So he could drop
but
back. So that would be your
but
four centers,
the story is, and the story was the back end of last season. Fartner wants Ampadu in midfield, so
which I
you'd rather
100%
have
agree.
Vober, as an option at the back than letting him go and then being a step backwards because you have to go out and get something. And then you're trying to
Mhm.
work out who's what caliber player because a lot of teams now are building their squads. They're not, you know what I mean? They're thinking, we're 3 weeks away from the season starting here, and
Mhm.
unless, we're going to have to pay big if we want, what we want.
And do you remember they were talking about oh, you don't want to bring him back into the change room after they ditched the club, but technically the whole changing rooms bar Bamford now. There's none of the old Premier League ones there now. Is there? Who's left? And there's Firpo, Bamford from
Nanto,
the Premier League, Nanto, some
Nanto,
yeah, but they're the
Somerville.
kids. Talking about the old guards, the old guards. Remember, like Cooper says, you don't want to be here, f off, and they left them bad to come back into the dressing room and
Yeah.
disrupt. But there's nobody there to disrupt, because it's a whole new squad. It's a whole new squad. I don't want Vober back. I know where you're coming from, and I said to you as well about Arnson is like, take your emotions out of it. Arnson in the championship for Leeds United, yes or no? The answer is absolutely 100% yes if he stays on his feet. But I just can't forgive Vober for doing what he did. I know it's not like
Well,
he went out and shot someone, but just the
if you
manner of
ask me,
why he did that.
if you ask me now, I think Vober's going to leave anyway. So he is.
Yeah, so the
I
I.
think because he had such a good season last season in Germany, I think there's going to be too many teams looking at him, and the price, his price tag's going to be, what they're going to be paying what the 49ers want. And you've seen with Kamara, once somebody activates that, their valuation, they're gone.
I like it though. I like the cutthroat from the 49ers. It's one of the people are panicking where they're saying, oh, the 49ers are going to let anybody go if they say they want to go. No, 49ers are looking at it as going, if I get the right money for you and you don't want to be at this
Yeah,
club, you can piss off because this is
yeah.
their money, not this is their club, not the player. Side before self. I know I keep saying that and I sound like a fucking idiot, but it's absolutely true. I've been a Leeds fan since 1987 and I've seen millions of players come and go and the club's still there and the fans are still there. So players are replaceable 100%. Big key in that.
The only
But
the only issue I have is, if we're gonna lose, quality, quality needs to be replaced with quality. And I just think
absolutely.
3 weeks to go, with the season starting. I know there's another 4 weeks, in August, to the 31st deadline, whatever it
Mhm.
is. I just think there's not no club's gonna let their best players go, unless you pay big.
But do you not think, again, this is me just overthinking it, do you not think with the Euros being on, the players were focused on the Euros, where they had to wait till the Euros was finished before players went on their holiday and says, right, now I'm fresh, now I don't want to know what to do. You look at all these Premiership clubs, they're only starting to come back now. So they're in no hurry. I know you want to get the business done, but half these players are still on holiday, So we only got the Leeds players last week. We've got Vober, Christensen, Arnson. They're all back tomorrow in training. Well, Christensen is told not to come anywhere near the club, but the rest of them are back at the club tomorrow training with the first team. So
Yeah,
they haven't even
well,
stepped in the door yet, you know?
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what way, the setup is. Is it going to be like you train the kids, or is it going to be right, come on back?
Speaking of kids, what we'll do, we'll move on from there to one of our golden stars. So the FFP deadline was coming up, and unfortunately, the
Yeah,
target man was Gray.
that was a
Um,
strange weekend.
it's just
It started
it's
off. I got a somebody actually said to me, "You guess where Archie Gray's going?" And he goes, a big London club, and I goes, Tottenham, no,
no,
Arsenal, no,
no,
Chelsea, no, and I named the
no,
whole lot, and then he goes, Brentford. I was like, what?
and it was
What is
it was
going on?
it was done and dusted. Done and
Uh,
dusted. Like everybody had it ticked off that he was there, had the medical, it was done, it was clear as day, and then you go for a wee nap and you wake up and he's at Spurs holding the top, and you're like, what the fuck
mm.
just happened?
But
um
I want to know, was that Brentford thing set up, for Spurs to get their act together and get a bid in, or
uh,
genuinely was it near Brentford? It's
I I think I think it wasn't. I think Brentford actually physically wanted him, knowing fine rightly that we need to get our foot in the door. Let's be
uh,
honest. You've watched Leeds last season. I've watched Leeds last season. Do anyone who's watching this channel who's not a Leeds fan, Aaron, will you just please explain the roof Archie Gray has of becoming a world class player?
he's absolutely on. He's a generational player. He's
Hundred
somebody that
percent.
comes along every maybe 20 years.
Yeah,
He's
definitely.
one of the best youngsters I've seen, and I know we've grew up and seen the likes of Harry Kewell, obviously, for Ian Hart, Alan Smith, all them boys. But
You're
Archie's
not you're not allowed to mention Harry Kuehl.
no. But
Yeah. So 40 million for a
I personally
17
think
year old.
you look at it, right. If you get him for 40 and you give him the right training, you put him in the team in his position, starts getting even bigger plaudits. The like Spurs. Spurs will easily make an R 20 million on him. So
Oh god, more,
realistically,
more,
you can go
more than
to
that.
60, 7, even 70 million. So I can understand why Brentford, they were thinking of it. Get now and shift on. Down the line. But
I be in the
he's
squad soon enough. I know maybe it's a bias, but we've seen him play. He is that damn good.
oh, he's
Um,
he's he's played right back. He's played left back. He's played centre mid. the
Attacking mid,
three
defensive
positions
mid,
last
yeah.
year. He played, what did he play? 45 matches, was it last year? More, maybe more, close to
Yeah.
50 games,
And he
for a
played
17-year-old.
and he played 90% of it out of position.
Yeah. That was right back.
Yep. He's not even a right back. He's a center midfielder,
No.
attacking center midfielder.
Yeah. But I
Unbelievable.
heard
And
somebody say tonight he's playing centre back for Spurs, or he's playing left back for Spurs tonight.
center back?
That's for Spurs against Hearts. So
Center back?
uh, yeah, I don't know if it's just to, get a look at him, see what he's like. Sort of Spurs are just obviously they've watched him, but just to see where he fits in, But
But
no, he's
40 million,
definitely
40 million ticks off the boxes for FFP. So technically
yeah,
we're in the green. Personally, we were never going to hold on to Gray. He was that good. It was nice while it lasted, but taking 40 million for a 17-year-old in the championship is fantastic.
yeah.
Like
You
you
couldn't
can't really.
see, to be honest, from an ownership point of view, you couldn't turn that down.
No.
He, I'm not saying he would have. I think he's world class. Like, but say some injury or something happens, before you
Mhm.
know it, you're losing, you're losing money. At least we get the 40,
Yeah.
40 million,
And it's all
add-ons,
profit because
whatever
he's
it was.
homegrown. He's
Yeah,
40 million of pure profit. So
yeah,
he's gone. FFP's all ticked off. We're in the green. We're in the clear. We've got the Red Bull. We've got the brand new kits. By the way, I also love the training kits. Absolutely love the training kits. The grey with the yellow and blue, absolutely
yeah.
fantastic. Absolutely love them. I don't want to spend the money on them, but I can look at them and say they're pretty.
Yeah,
I'm definitely not.
my advice is wait to February, March. You get any size you want, and you'll get them
Absolutely.
for about 50, 60% off, maybe 70.
Do you know? Do you
That's
know
what I'm
what I
doing.
want? Do you know what I'll do? I want to go back a wee bit. What you're saying about the prices. What's your thoughts on the away kit? Now we haven't seen it, but we're hearing stories about the smiley badge back and the pure yellow kits. What's your thought on that? Are you excited?
Yeah, I see. To be honest, I've been crying out for a yellow shirt. When was the last time you actually had the yellow shirt? Was it
Proper
must have
yellow,
been?
not blue cheese or
Yeah,
the half and half.
aye.
Proper pure yellow shirt. Do you know what? Actually, was it not with Red Kite in League One? The yellow
No,
top.
it was after that. There was net flights. They done one, so they did the net flights one. Remember the Backford
Okay.
one, the FA Cup
Yeah,
against Spurs? I
right.
think
And
I
did
net flights.
did Kappa do a yellow one? I know they did black. They
Yes, they
did.
did. Yes, yes, they
Did
did.
they?
They did. Yeah. It was a one with no sponsor.
So it was
So
one
it
of the
was.
first years.
I think
That
maybe that is the last one. Maybe what
I think,
2014,
yeah, that reminds
2015.
me of Berardi. That always
Yeah.
reminds me. It had the long collar down here, and then it was just pure yellow. Berardi, and always
Or
because that's
Chris.
the first.
Chris
Who?
was it Chris Wood against Derby? Scored that cracker, outside the
That's
box.
that's right. Yeah, that's
But
right. I'm
no, we
excited. I
haven't had a yellow one.
in a while. I want the smiley face back in the away kit. I'm not gonna lie to you. It has to be coming back because I've got that smiley face all over the website, all over websites, over their do we call it Twitter or X? What do we call it? Crap. We'll call it crap. Their Instagram, their Facebook. It's all the smiley face. Even when the player, when was it Rothwell who signed for Leeds? When he was signing the photograph, it was the smiley face on that in the bottom corner. The smiley face is everywhere. So
That could be it.
it could be it. It can't be doing all that and then coming back with the shield
I
going
like
well.
what I like about Adidas as well is I like what they call the original stuff. When you're getting the original Adidas badge, on things. You know what I mean? It's just
Mhm.
sort of retro, sort of takes you back.
Yeah, I love the
So
new
it
kit.
does. They're doing all that there.
I seen the new kit in
See the
G.
amount of see the amount of training stuff. The Adidas are actually producing. See when we were with Capra and Macron, or you know, suppliers like that. There, you were getting like one shirt, one pair of trousers. Adidas are really going all out. Like,
Twice a season, we'll change the colors up. January, brand new training gear out.
sorry, what were you saying? What were you saying about JD
I'm
Sports?
saying I went into JD and actually physically seen the top, held it in my hand and looked at it. It
Yeah,
was expensive, but I was impressed. The Red Bull doesn't bother me. It just shows you the kind of caliber that we're getting from Red Kite to fucking Red Bull. There's a big difference. in power there, as a business. But I
And
liked it.
many people drink Red Bull as well. You
I had
know,
a couple. I had a couple yesterday. I sent you a picture saying I got 2 cans of Leeds United. I'm a dork. I'm a dork. Well, listen. So the players all came back to preseason then. So that was fun. I was really excited watching the videos. I'm like a child when it comes like that. You see them come back in the door and introduce himself, and Harry Potter, Don James with the big scar down his face. Jeez, do you see that scar?
yes, mate.
Holy
That was a
shit!
Wembley battle
It's
wounds.
from, it's from like here right down to here. And
Aye.
I remember watching his interview on LUTV, and he turned around and goes, "Wasn't worth it, was it?" And I'm like, "Oh Jesus, Dan, don't be saying that there to me for fuck's sake."
I love that, but see players putting their bodies on the line. See Rodon and all. You know, Rodon last season. You seen him. You know, with a bandaged head. You know, just that's brilliant. That's what you want to see. Players want to
Love it.
see. You know, or fans want to see players that are committed. Like they don't want to see people pulling out of challenges. And do you know what
Snowball.
I mean? You know,
Absolutely.
that's where games are won and lost. You know,
So it was good to see the boys back in training. It was good to see Rodon being part of the actual squad. This time he's not alone. This is the first
yeah,
time in a long time you could turn around and say, I fell in love with a lone player and he's now ours. I was well chuffed to get that
yeah.
over the line.
Usually, usually when a loan player, they normally go back and then we don't see them again. You know, the
That's it.
club can't reach a fee and somebody else takes them. At least with
Yeah.
Rodon, we managed to get that one done.
I was well chuffed to get that done. He will wear the number 14. That's his favorite number. So
Not only that
brilliant.
there, but did he not turn around and say that he turned down interest from Southampton, Ipswich and Leicester? So
He did. He did.
I mean, you know, what does that tell you?
It tells you that Leicester's screwed with the 15 points deduction they're going to be getting here soon. But sorry, that's a side note.
But
Um, Go ahead.
he's dropping down a division, you
I,
know.
it just shows you players like that you want in your squad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is great. But I love watching the videos. They came back and they done the videos. Obviously, Rudder crying in the playoff final. You could see his heart in his sleeve there. Came back and he again back to being the happiest, bubbliest guy in the training group, dumping around, playing games, saying hello in every different language. It was great. They done the beep test. The oldest guy in the squad won it.
Sam
Oldest
Barham.
Sam Barron, the oldest guy in the squad who has no knees, won the beep test.
It's funny you say the oldest player in the squad because I remember, well, you probably remember as well, and everybody else probably remembers Sam Barham getting his debut against Wolves. You know, Neil Warnock give him right back, played him right back. He's
That's
brilliant.
right.
And from then on, he just kicked on. And it like, what was that, 12 years ago, 13 years ago? You
They
know,
ended
time
up
just flies.
they ended up putting him right midfield where he was scoring every weekend for fun. Do you remember that? He went through about
Mm,
6, 7 games where he was just whacking these goals in that
yeah.
nobody ever knew. It's like, how did he score that? And then he away
You know,
went
that
to
was
West Ham.
back then we had Charlie Taylor, we had Lewis Cook, we had Sam Barham all coming through. Alex Mott,
Mowat
you
was
know,
another one. Yeah.
that was good. You know, I know we didn't really, you know, kick on, but you know, seeing all them players come through the academy and the first team, and they were
Yeah.
good, decent players.
Yeah, no, here I remember those, but players. That was when Leeds couldn't afford the fucking ham sandwich. Like, let's be honest, we
Yeah,
couldn't afford the fucking sponsor in the kit as well. That was the kit, the yellow, where those boys were photographed in. We couldn't even get it. We didn't have a changing room. We didn't have any facilities. I'd leave too. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I think was
Um,
it Massimo Cellino and then GFH Capital.
they came in and closed
Was
everything
it
down,
them two
closed down the
owners?
canteen and
Yeah.
all, didn't they? They closed the canteen and all down where they had to bring their own packed lunch. Good days, good times being a Leeds fan back then. It was horrible. So all the players came back. Who were you excited to see most?
Well, from everything going on this summer, probably your man Aronson coming back, you know, thought, and then
Yeah.
obviously, hopefully, you know, Rudder sort of, but there's no real talk of him staying. You know, Somerville hasn't really, you know, there's no
You don't think
real
you don't think
bids at
Rudder's
the
going to
minute.
stay?
No, I do. I think he'll stay.
Okay, yeah, I thought you says he had no real means of staying. I'm like, what? He's gone? No, no. Rudder will definitely
No,
stay.
no.
I think I'm the only Leeds fan on the planet who thinks Somerville's not going anywhere either. He ain't going nowhere. I think the Gray deal kind of secured him. If he goes, now there is
I
rumors
think
that
he's. I think he'll go.
I don't.
So I
Again,
do.
in football, you don't know, but
I
I
just think
think
you don't win the championship player of the season and not end up securing a move. That's
Or should
my
you
that's
you win
basically.
it? You win it 2 years in a row.
Well,
See,
I just think I don't know. I'm hoping we get the 31st of August, whenever it is. What is it, 31st or 1st September?
yeah,
Whatever way you want to
absolutely.
look at it. He's still there. I'm hoping, but I don't know. I can't see it. Even with the grey, I just think every player has a price, and I think if somebody triggers at 40, 35, 40 million,
Is
panic
it not
buys at
50?
maybe the last day, I
Yeah.
think I think that it'll be accepted.
Is it not 50? Is it Leeds not
Well, if it's
say they
50,
want
even better.
50? But there you go.
Even better.
If he goes, I think it'll be for a value that Leeds can say 50 million, yes or no. They'll say yes, he'll go. Other than that, I don't think Leeds will actually physically push to sell him. I personally don't think he's gonna go. I think the Gray deal covered Somerville staying.
I no,
I
I think the grey deal pushed his price up
good. Good. That's what I'm
because
saying. Everyone has a
teams
price,
now,
but
yeah, teams now are thinking, oh, flip, they need to sell, and then we get Archie Gray sold, and then they're like, flip, they don't need to sell,
mm,
we'll have to go on their terms.
so
I think that's what will happen. I think eventually, there'll be offers coming in. I think the likes of Palace, somebody like that there, especially with losing the Lise, I think the way they target players, but it might be too much for them to pay. Usually they pay small and then sell big.
they're big,
So
like a Brighton. Um, Another player I did see come back in, and there's a lot of talk at the moment, is Nanto. Now, you know my thoughts on Nanto. I always thought Nanto should have went, right? He tried to force his way to the club. He never really recovered with me. There's a lot of talk with Leeds fans now, arguing back and forth in other podcasts is about Dan James or Nanto, who's better. Let's talk about that. I believe, if I'm not rude in saying, you're a Nanto fan, I'm a Dan James fan. Yeah.
yeah,
Do you?
I like Nando. I think you only have to look at what he's done. He's the youngest ever Italy scorer. He's
Mhm,
brought into the Italy team. That doesn't happen. Unless you're a decent player. You look at Lamine Lamal. Coming into the Spanish team. At
mhm.
that age. If you're obviously Nando was obviously a wee bit older, but if you look at the likes of somebody, a player that must be special. If Mancini's bringing him in, for his first international at a young age, you look at the game against Aston Villa when he played in the left in the Premier League for Leeds. Gary Neville was absolutely raving about him. I know
I
Gary Neville's
completely,
played at the
yeah,
top
with for
level.
United
He's
too.
become a fairly good pundit, over the years.
Mhm.
If he's raving about him as well, there must be something there. Don't get me wrong, I like James, and I'm glad he stayed as well. But if you ask me over the two, I prefer Nando.
That's fine. You can't go wrong here. I do like Nando, but if you're
Yeah,
asking me in my
I
opinion,
don't think there's any wrong answer.
yeah, I wouldn't mind selling Nando to keep James and Somerville. Then with Artson back in, then you've got Rudder to go out each wing as well. So
Yeah,
we can't afford to lose one of them. If I had an opinion to lose anyone up of our front four, I would pick Nanto to go out the door. He'll make the value. Will not. Who'd be more, Nanto or Dan James? Who would get more money for?
I would probably say Nando.
Exactly. See you later, Nanto. Dan James had more assists, more goals last year in Nanto, and he only played half the games. Fact. Dan James is one of the fastest guys, and people say he can't finish and he can't cross. Was he not the only one to be able to cross the ball last season to Bamford's head to get the ball in the back of net? Is he not the only
But
one to
then
do that?
you can look at the other side. The likes of that crunch game with Bristol City. Nando came up with the goods.
I
Saying
agree. I'm
3 points.
agreeing with that. I'm agreeing
You
with that.
know
Did Dan James not score a crucial goal from the halfway line as well?
against Hull.
That was a good one, by the way. And was Dan James not the game changer against Norwich when we won 3-2? I know Somerville scored the 2 goals, but who was the game changer?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, at the end of the day, I don't think there's a wrong. I don't
no,
think either is.
absolutely. I 100%
Uh,
agree with you. But what I'm saying is, with the stories with Nanto, I would rather sell Nanto, keep Dan James, Rudder, and Somerville. That's my opinion. I generally don't mind losing Nanto. He doesn't want to be at the club. Why keep a player who doesn't want to be there? That's just forcing something out of somebody,
well, there's talk of Everton yesterday. coming in with a bid. I think it's like
Mm.
22 million.
But
22 million add-ons.
they have to sell your man first. They have to get that. Is it what do you call him?
Nana,
Nana? Anana.
uh,
Where's he away to? Man United, is it?
I don't actually know. I thought Onana was the keeper, but
No, not the what do you midfielder for Everton? Sorry.
I think it is
Uh
Onana, but it's the same. It's the same name as the.
Same name.
Is it the same name? Same
Is
name
it,
as the United keeper?
you're confusing me, mate. So the Everton midfielder, we'll call him that, right? The Everton midfielder. He's away to United, yeah?
No, I think is he? I don't
Is that
know.
not?
I'm not. I'm
I
not
thought
actually sure.
he's away somewhere for 15 million.
Yeah,
Well, ladies and
50.
gentlemen, welcome to the football chat where we know fuck all about football. Jesus Christ.
Uh,
The midfielder from Everton, whatever his name is
yes,
going to some
he's
sort of club
waiting.
in the world,
Yeah.
right? For 50 million.
Uh,
Fuck's sake.
and then
As soon as that goes through, then they're going obviously the story is they're gonna come through and make the bid for Nanto.
yeah,
I just
I think it's looking like it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm
So
just a wee
this,
bit pissed off that it's Everton. Everton turn around and go, Leeds are shit. Can we buy all your players? Everton do that, by the way. When Burnley went down, they bought all their players. Look at their Tusolsky and what's it, the other Neil, isn't it? The
McNeil,
midfielder.
yeah,
They
McNeil.
bought them too, and now Leeds went down. Now they buy Harrison and Nanto. They're just banned relegated teams, and they wonder why they're constantly in relegation battles. Stop banning players who got relegated.
Well, it's Sean Dyche seems to have a thing for Leeds. He went and got Chris Wood. He went and got Charlie Taylor when he was Burnley. And then Everton.
Peacock Furl.
But I think,
Peacock
yeah,
Furl.
but I think Tarkowski was already at Everton before he arrived.
Yeah. By the way, did you see where Peacock Furl ended up signing? He's away to Birmingham.
Yes, that's right. Yes,
in League One.
That'll be a decent move for him. I think Birmingham will, they'll do well in League One next year. Like I think with the owners, and I think they're unlucky to go down. So they were, but
absolutely. So the boys are all back in town, and then we got tomorrow. We're expecting the outcasts back. So Arnson will be back. He's back from holiday tomorrow from international duty. Vober is back tomorrow, so it'll be interesting. Christensen is told not to come near the squad because there's a bid in for him, and Farke doesn't want him anywhere near the club. So that would be interesting. We'll go on to the next subject here. What the fuck is going on with the players in and out of Leeds United? I am sick of turning on chats and watching podcasts and reading YouTubes and watching Instagrams, reverse that, about panic mode in Leeds United. They're falling apart and all these players are leaving and what are we going to do? And there's 17 players out the door and there's only one player in, Rothwell, which, by the way, is a great signing. I'm not going to lie to you. And by the way, live on YouTube right now, ladies and gentlemen, I called that 4 days before anybody else even knew that. Aaron, you're my proof. Did I or did I not text you say that medical was booked and the player's coming in? Didn't I?
I did.
Thank you. So anybody else does that, they got that from me. We move on. Anyway, sorry, that was just me getting my fucking my 50 cents in there. The players who got sold that everybody's panicking about. Rocca wasn't there last year. He was on the books from the Premier League. That's a player that they've officially marked down as sold. Wasn't there. Llorente wasn't there for the last 2 seasons. He was off at Roma. He got sold this year. He's away to Betis as well. Okay, you were saying before we went live about the fee was a bit low. I agree with that, but it gets the wages off the books because they were on Premier League wages. So there's 2 players that sold that haven't been at the club last season. We have JB. JB was on loan to Plymouth last year. He's away on loan again, I believe, isn't he? He's a player that's went out the door. Perkins is sold. Sonny Perkins hasn't played a Leeds game for 3 years in Leeds. He was sold out the last 2 seasons. He's officially sold. We have Drama. Cody Drama was on loan for the last 5 seasons at Leeds until his contract's finally run out. So he's down as a free agent. Pavetta, he was also another guy that's now off the books.
Hold on. The Drama, sorry. The thing with Drama is the club, he's at an age where the club can get compensation. So they offer him a contract that
just to get the compensation. You're right. Yes, absolutely. Poveda was out in loan last season. He went to Sheffield Wednesday. He actually doesn't have a club at the minute, so he's down as officially a player gone. Christensen wasn't there last year, so we've got a body in the door. Again, he will be sold. So that's another player that will be sold off the books. Wasn't there last year. We have Vober. We did have a discussion about Vober there. He's another player that's come back into the club that will be sold. So that's also a player down as the sold category. Cresswell wasn't being used by Farke. He was so bad that they stuck a midfielder and centre back over a centre back. He wasn't used. He had 5 appearances last year, 3 of them off the bench in the last 10 minutes.
Very surprised that
I know. So am
I'm
I, to be honest
very
with you.
surprised at the Cresswell, to be honest, because I thought, see, when he went out not known to Millwall, he was scoring. I think he was championship top scorer in the first 2 weeks. So he was as a
For,
centre
for,
back.
for Millwall, that's
Millwall,
right. He
yeah,
was a good.
first 2 weeks, I think he had 4 goals or 3
I,
goals. In the
I
first 2 matches.
I think there was something more. I think there was something bigger in the background happening with that. There had to be because they got rid of him. He's a 4-year contract. He's 22, and then
Yeah,
we
but
sold him for
I was
3.8
reading
million.
today. I was reading today, right? You're saying there's something bigger in the background. Is Wee Brawers signed a contract today with the club?
I seen that.
So I'm kind of going like, if there was a rift between the family and the club, surely he wouldn't have signed.
There was a
Well,
rift
that's just my
between
opinion. Like,
Cresswell. I know. We'll never know. The next player, Shackleton, is away. So he's another player, off the books. Shackleton's now went to Sheffield United. Cooper was extended a 1-year contract. He could be on his way to Blackburn. He's another guy. And Klassen. The other players outside that was Gray and Kamara. So 2 first-team players that were sold. And we got Rothwell in. So, tell me, where is the panic in this? With the club is now selling everybody. All we hear is 15 sales, 15 players out the door. Greenwood's another one. I didn't even put him on the list. My apologies. Greenwood's now away to Plymouth. Where's Rooney? Plymouth, isn't it?
I think Greenwood.
Greenwood went to
Did
Plymouth.
Greenwood not go to Preston?
He did. He did go to Preston. Sorry. So he's another one out the door, Preston. Oh, and Luke Gilleen, he's now away to Middlesbrough. So all these players that Leeds fans are going absolutely overdrive and panicking that we're selling everybody. None of those players were even at the club last year. And the ones that were there never played.
I think the problem I think people have is the fact that, when you're sort of looking at the midfield. I know somebody else in our chats touched on this here, that I was listening to the other night, so I don't want to steal their line, but they were looking at the midfield and saying, right, that's sorted, we move on, and then you find out Kamara's sold, and then you have to go back over that there. I know probably saying Raphael, but then Raphael you could have done with him anyway, not a Kamara replacement.
I know, but you have to realize as well.
People are going bananas about the amount of goals Kamara scored there last season, or he wouldn't even have a shot, blah, blah, blah. But see the work he done. See if you actually watch him, you study him and you watch him, I think one of the games, I don't think he misplaced the pass. Everything was direct, it was forward. People are saying that it was backwards. Yes, fair enough, it was backwards. He did turn. Sometimes he slowed things up. But overall, if he was, well, again, I'm stealing somebody else's line here, but, if you look at the 13 matches or 12 matches, whatever it was, he was in the team the whole time. We were keeping clean sheets. He was part of that.
Absolutely. Listen, don't get me wrong. I like Kamara. I just think the bigger picture with the 49ers is Kamara is 29 years of age, and we were offered 10 million for him. We have Grave, and we have now Ampadu back in midfield. So we've got Rothwell in as another attacking midfielder. You also have to realize as well that Aronson can't play centre midfield.
Yeah.
So is he a body? And again, Leeds is going to have a list of players. They're going to have a list of players who they can buy. They're going to have a short list of a load of players. They'll go next, no, next, no, next, no, next, no, and they'll do it. Ask you a question. As it stands right now, with all these players leaving and Leeds not buying anybody, are you panicking?
At the minute, no, but as time goes on, yes, I will be because
Are you?
I think we're about 5 or 6 signings away. Personally,
100%. I personally do,
I
but I am going to leave it to the end of the window, and I'll judge it on how the window closes. Do we have the squad? Again, truly, I'd rather have it before the first game of the season, so we have the players in. But not all. That's not always going to happen, you know.
we you only have to look at what happened last year. We weren't steady. We didn't have a steady squad till after the window shut. And look at the results at the start of the season. With like many points, we didn't win our first match, like 3 or 4 games in.
Mhm.
I think it was sort of near the end of August against Ipswich. We drew our second game, or sorry, we lost our second game, we won our first game. We
We
can't have
drew
that start again, and that's what killed us.
we drew our first game of Cardiff. They were 2-0 up.
Yeah, we drew the first game. I think we lost the second game to Birmingham. It was a last minute
1-0.
penalty, and then the third game I think we drew with, was it Preston or West Brom? It was West Brom.
West Brom.
So there's what 2 points out of nine. You know, the first 3 matches. We can't have that start again. We need at least 7 points from nine,
Yeah,
at
that
least.
that them 9 points would have put us first in the league.
Yeah. But the
You know.
problem was last year. I know I don't want to go back to last year, but the likes of Ipswich just kept winning, winning, winning. You're just waiting on it to end, and then you look back and you go, right, well, they don't look like slipping up here. And then you look back at the way they finished League One the year before, and you're like, flip me, these boys are used to this, and
Yeah,
eventually we found that out.
yeah, I know. I agree with that. I'm not panicking. As to say, the owners, the 49ers, have a hell of a lot more to lose than I do. I'm a fan. Rather we lose all the players and have to sell on. I'm still going to be a fan of Leeds. If we're in League One or in a conference, I'm still going to be a fan of Leeds. The 49ers can't afford not to get promoted this year. So there's no reason why those as an owners can go sell, sell, sell and expect to win the league. They're not stupid. That's why I'm not panicking. I know we all want signings and we're Leeds fans and we're greedy and we want big money and we're rich and please, please, please. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. And I know there's people out there that are absolutely losing their head because there's no signings. We had a signing the other day and he was just overlooked. You got your signing, and because Kamara was sold, that was it. That was the end of it. Listen, see if we wake up tomorrow and there's 3 bodies in the door and a triple signing, everybody will be over the moon again. I have absolutely
Another
no. Go ahead.
another thing that's making me worry is the fact that the Bogle situation. I think from what I hear, we bidded, and then we bidded something similar. But structured it differently. It's You know what I mean?
I know.
I don't think we should pay what teams want, but I think we need to get closer to the valuations if we're going to get the players, because sooner or later, I know Burnley have got Roberts, but they could come in for him, or Luton could come in for him, or Sheffield United could surprise us and somehow pull money out for somebody else.
They
You
have
know what I mean?
parachute
It's
payments as well, don't they?
Yeah, so we sort of we need to get our act together. I know I'm kind of panicking at the minute, but not as much. But say in a week's time, if we're still the same situation and we're 2 weeks away from the first day of the season, it's Portsmouth are going to be up for that match. They're not going to be, you know, they're not going to be turned up down the road, looking to get rolled over. They're going to be right up, especially winning that league last year.
Yeah,
So
just
we
just
need to
don't do
be like
another. Just
we played a average Cardiff team in the first day of the season last year. With Sinister, we had Nanto, we had all the big players before obviously the strikes and this and that happened.
before
You
the shit
know,
hit the fan.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
I get that.
you
No,
know,
I get that. And with that said, so what do we need then here, Aaron? So going forward in the season, you're talking about players coming in, right? You're talking about what we need and what we can do. What do we need, right? Me personally, we need a left back. We need a right
yeah.
back. We need a centre back. We need a centre midfielder. We need a forward. That's what I think we need. And a bench. I think we need a whole bench. We do not have a bench.
I think if we can keep, I know I said Somerville's going, but if we keep the whole forward line, I don't think we need a forward.
Yeah.
I think Pearl and Bamford could do it, and I think with Joseph as well. Don't forget, how's Joseph going to get in if you go and get a forward?
Again, I
That's
completely agree. I generally do think a whole back
yeah.
line is
I
needed.
agree with
Right,
everything
left,
else, and
centre,
I think the main issue's a bench. Last year, if you look at the subs, he didn't really trust.
any of them.
He had players sitting on the bench that were never going to be used. And he knew they were never going to be used, but they were just sitting there. Doing the signings before kickoff, and with the fans, and just sitting on the bench, just hoping he put them on. and
No,
and then you look at the playoff final, and you look at no midfielder, on the bench, to bring on. Which, when you look at Southampton's team, you look at like Flynn Downs, you look at all was it, all their midfield. It was just, I think that's what won them that final. Their midfield lineup.
hmm
So it did. I think
no,
midfield wins matches.
I completely agree with you. I have no problem. I think we'll get a left, right, centre, and a centre midfielder, and I generally don't see no issues with that. And what we will do, like Crew, I think Crew will be in as a bench warmer this year, and he'll be used as a rotation in midfield. He scored there last night, didn't he, against Rangers? No, not against Rangers, against Scabala's team,
Yeah.
Luton. Not Luton. What do you call them? It's Lincoln City. He scored against them as he came off the bench and scored. So I generally do think he's going to be brought in like the way Gray was supposed to before he got thrown into the right back. I think he'll be used in midfield as a rotation. He's coming in. He's young. He's big. He's strong. He's fast. I do think he's going to be used a lot. But going forward, like obviously, who would you want, right? Who is it you actually want?
Oh,
If you're Leeds manager and you're going right, I want to go out and I want to buy ABC. Who would you buy? I know you were talking about O'Hare, and you think that was a big loss. Um, he was a free agent.
I
Nobody even
do. I'll
knows.
tell you why. If we had a lost Somerville, which still can happen, you can put Rudder out in the left. You can bring O'Hare in. O'Hare and Aronson can be the two number 10s. Aronson can even play on the right as well. And then
Yep,
if you look at losing Nanto as well, if we lose Somerville and Nanto, you know, you've got Dan James on the right, and then you can O'Hare and Aronson. And then Aronson can obviously play on the right as well. So you've good options. But then I can probably understand. I think from what I hear, the he was looking a 4 year deal or something there.
4 year
So he
deal. He
was.
was looking like
I think
Premiership
it's a bit
wages as
it's a
well.
bit it's a bit risky, giving somebody with what was it, an ACL? I think he done his ACL, didn't he?
Oh, well,
For
he's a
a
couple
four
of
year deal.
injuries. Yeah,
Aye,
yeah. Well, there
it's
was also Chad Adams there. He's a free agent. I wouldn't have minded kind of even if we looked at him. Just maybe not because we do have a good forward line. But my point to this is there's a lot of free agents out there. If Leeds are tight with money, like why are we not talking to these free agents who can come into the championship and do a number and being proven in the championship that they can do a number? I mean, it's not like you're paying a fee for these guys; they're free. That's the
what do
point
you
I'm trying to
call
get.
the guy? Was the guy on loan from Liverpool at Hull last year? Was it Tyler Morton? Was it, or is that what you
Yeah, there
call him?
was no. There was also Carvani, wasn't he, or Carvano, or whatever you call him, went to Liverpool to Hull.
Aye, there's a wee lad from played for Liverpool Hull. I wouldn't mind seeing him, on the team.
Mhm.
You know,
There's options. Maybe we will go into the loan market. There's a lot of Premier League clubs out there. And we just don't know with the 49ers. I mean, we could be talking on this channel. We could look and there'd probably be two players signed for Christ's sake. We just don't know with
yeah,
the
but we're
49ers because
always
Roth.
we're always looking. See, when we finish the championship campaign over the years, you're always looking at the teams that went out and got the players. You
Mhm.
know, like Ipswich last year with Kiefer Moore. And everybody's talking this year. Flip, if we had went out and got him, if we had went out and got him. But where would you put him in? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
As I said, you Bamford, Pearl, you Joseph. If you're Pearl and they're signing an our player and you're sitting on the bench, you're like, flip me. I've left first team, Swansea scoring goals to sit here, third
On the
in the
bench.
packing order or fourth in the packing order.
Do
But
you
I
think
do
he'll?
think I think he will. I think Pearl will have a decent season. I don't
I
think
think
a,
he'll
a
come
good
good.
striker doesn't forget where the goal is. I think he
He's one.
just needs a wee bit of work, sharpened up a wee bit. I think the system. I think he needs to understand the system. I think Farka maybe needs to maybe say to the rest of the players, you know, this is the way we're playing. We're going to play with Perro up top. Perro, you're going to sit up there. A couple of times last season, I seen him dropping back, and he's picking the ball up where Kamara should be. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or he wasn't.
Lost in limbo.
Yeah, it was almost like the same story. Everybody goes on about Harry Kane, but Harry Kane's backing it up with 50 odd goals.
Not for England, he didn't.
Pero's doing what dropping back with doing what
Zero.
Harry Kane does, but not. I think he did get double figures, but I think he did
Yeah,
get double figures, didn't he? He got 10, 12 goals, which if you're a striker and you're getting double figures, and
that's
people are
what you want.
complaining about you.
That's what you want.
It's.
Hundred
But
percent.
I do think there's a bit of life in him yet. I think, as I said, a good striker doesn't forget where the net is.
He's definitely our best finisher. So, all in all, we've been on for an hour here now. What's your thoughts going forward here for the new season? Obviously, first, we're planning, we're favourites. We got to go number one. Do you expect us to get a lot of players in? Do you think we're going to be okay?
Well, I think you only have to look at the bookies odds. Burnley are 7-1, Leeds are 7-2.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't really see. Over the years for the championship, you're normally seeing teams 6-1, 7-1. We're 7-2.
Yeah.
So we're
No,
we're we're red hot favourites. I think we need to get the players in early.
if we stop
But
selling all these valuable
time's
players,
moving on, and
yeah, as long as we
it's.
stop selling all these valuable players that everybody's cracking up about, like Shackleton and Cooper and stuff like that. For God's sake.
And I think as well, as I said earlier, you need to get off the good start.
Yeah,
If you can get 7 points from the first nine, you know, three matches, 7 points, you're going to be first, second in the league, to start. Then that's a statement. And then you just go from there. As I said last season, with 2 points from nine, that's 17th, 18th in the championship. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's not promotion. I think from what I looked at last year, I think obviously the slow start killed us, and then not getting any points was it off just after Easter. If you look at it, I was looking at
after it.
January, February, March. I think we were hitting 9, 9, and then 7. Or sorry,
Yeah,
max, and then 7. It was kind of like a standard sort of dropped. And then as the months went on, we weren't getting maximum points. So we weren't. Or sorry, it was
yeah.
3 points a game. January, February. What am I talking about? For 3 points a game, January, February, March, I think was 2 or 1.5, and then it was like 1 point a game towards the end.
Because the international break that killed us. Dan James missed that
Yeah.
penalty, and the 4 Welsh
Well,
guys at the time.
I was at the whole game on Easter Monday, and I remember going into the stadium, and it was two each. I was walking down Basin Hill, to the stadium, two each on my phone. Got into the ground, it was like there's a couple of minutes left, whatever it was. I was just ordering a coffee, at the stand, and the screen was on, in the concourse, and you could hear a pin dropped, and people were saying Ipswich have just scored 3-2 last minute. And I was just like, flip me, that just piles the pressure on us tonight. And then obviously, we get the win against Hull, but it was kind of like really, really nervous, win. And then from
But
that point on in the season, we just, like QPR, I was at the QPR game, 4-0, got absolutely walloped, and you're wondering what's going on, Do
I
you know
want
what
to
I mean?
talk about the QPR game. It didn't exist.
Uh,
That game just went down
I
as
was going to
void
ask you
3
as
0.
well, who do you think the dark horses are this year in the league?
My honest opinion, Derby County.
I think QPR.
Maybe.
Just something, just the way they played against us the back end of the season, they look brilliant. Like the way they moved the ball.
We were that shit. I don't know. See with the championship, you'll never know. Like you'll never know in the
And
championship. For all we know, fucking Sheffield Wednesday will be up there in top 2.
I was just about to say that Sheffield Wednesday as well. With that manager as well.
Aye.
QPR Sheffield Wednesday. I would sort of maybe keep my eye on, but as I said, you never know.
No,
So you don't.
I know. I get it. But listen, on that note, Aaron, we're in an hour and 4 minutes here. That was a good chat.
We're on hour 7, is it not?
Something like that anyway. But that was a really good chat. That was a very good catch up. It really was.
Yes.
I personally, I'm calm. I'm really calm. I've no Worries. Obviously, do I want
Give
more
me a
players
week.
in? Yeah, I want more players in, but I just think the 49ers have too much to lose not to bring the players in. I think it's stupid and idiotic if they think that they can keep selling players and go on a bare minimum squad. If you look at it right now, our first 11, what's our bench? We don't have one. So
No.
people are saying players are going to come in. They're going to come in. There's no way around this that Leeds will not buy players. We just cannot do it. It's a 48 plus cup games, not to have players. It's suicidal as a football team not to buy players. So I have no hesitation. I am the first signing in. I think is absolutely fantastic. Rothwell, the other goalkeeper, is a third choice homegrown player. I think as a third choice keeper with his age and experience is absolutely fantastic. Bringing Sam Barron back, obviously he got that 1 year extension. Fantastic. We got Rodon through the door. I think smart move. He knows the club. He can hit the ground running. There's nothing this club's doing wrong right now. People, put it this way, before I go, the date is the 17th. Did you expect Somerville to go by now? Yes or no?
Probably yes.
Right. Did you expect Nanto to be gone by now?
I don't know. I've sat in the fence with that one, to be honest.
Right, okay. What I'm trying to get at is the players, you were expecting a lot more first teamers to go. We've sold one and Gray. Two, if you want to put it like that. And we've brought one in. So there's two at the door, one in that matters in the squad, right? We've kept Somerville. So I know you are all thinking he's going to be sold. That's fine. Maybe it's worry. Maybe it's going to happen. But everybody thought Somerville, as soon as the window was open, he was out the door. He's still here 2 weeks later. I'm calm. Nothing's bad's happened yet. Nothing bad's happened yet.
The weird thing about it is as well. But if you look at the likes of, a couple of weeks ago, was it Silverstone? You had Red Bull, and you had Glenn
Yeah,
Kamara there, you had Dan
Rudder.
James there, and you had Rudder there. And see if you were watching that back then, which I was, you would never have said Kamara was leaving.
Maybe he was maybe there was absolutely
You
no
know, and
intention to sell him.
another thing that I found absolutely hilarious was the fact that Kamara actually announced on his Instagram before Leeds had put it out and Ren had put it out that he was off.
But
You
Kamara
know,
did
it's
he did get a good send off by Leeds United. Like when the rest of the boys gone, it's like rock us away, see you later. Right, Lorente, up yours, out the door.
yeah.
Right. Where he got like, thank you very much to Kamara. He was a great inspiration. He helped the dressing room on and off the pitch. It was nice. Generally, I think it
No,
was
but
just
my point is, if you were looking at that video, you would never have said he was going to go. So
but what
anything
I'm
can happen.
yeah, but what I'm saying is nobody expect. Yeah, you're right. So nobody expected him to go, but maybe they just turn around and goes 10 million for Kamara. He's 29 here. Can we really not say no to 10 million for a midfielder that we have three defensive midfielders who can do his job anyway?
See, what's given me a bit of confidence is the fact that Red Bull have built teams up. So, they kind of know. I know
What's happening?
49ers are probably majority owners, but I mean, Red Bull will have some sort of say in
Inkling?
the background, So
Yeah.
if they have all the scouting networks and know who's available, and they'll know about players that maybe our clubs won't even know exist,
Yeah.
through data, so that's the thing that's given me confidence. But the only issue I'll have is, see if we're in the same position in 2 weeks' time, I will be panicking.
And again, I will say I'll be a wee bit stressed out too. But
Yeah.
until that happens, I'm fine. Our two friendlies was Rangers. We played our seconds. We played the behind closed doors against Lincoln. A couple of first timers, rest of kids. We play here on Friday. Here, it's going to be the kids again. The
See, to
first
be
team.
honest, the only
Mhm.
I haven't really been paying much attention to preseason. The only preseason game that I can actually look at and say we have is visit Valencia. The rest of it's a weird sort of preseason this year.
Well, they'll probably. It's the Germany's a weird
It's
one for
kind
me
of
where
like it's kind of like a
no fans
secretive
allowed.
preseason the way they've done it.
But that's the 49ers. The 49ers don't tell you nothing. They don't need to tell
I
us
know,
nothing.
but
They don't. care.
I know,
Like,
but
don't
usually when a team's going on pre-season, you're like, right, here's the games. You normally have like Farsley Celtic. You normally have maybe remember Warnock brought us down the Cornwall. You had a couple of them games. You know, you maybe Shamrock Rovers over and down south. You know, Republic of Ireland. Do you know what I mean? These games were all laid out. You know that you knew what was happening. Whereas this year, it seems, I don't know, it seems very like secretive. And then there's talk of like behind closed doors. What's that about?
maybe we've already signed players and they're so secretive that the
You know,
boys are there
it's
and they're ready to go. Maybe we don't know what's happening.
no, but
Again,
I
I
just
like
think it's
this.
a weird.
It beats.
I think it's a weird like way of doing pre-season. You know,
I know, but does it not
I
beat
don't know. Maybe
Rajasani going onto the club and going, "Oh, our new players for sure," and constantly tweeting fans and stuff like that? Just be an owner. Shut up and be an owner and just do your job. That's the way I
yeah.
look at it. Right, on that one, I will. We will get back on again, but as of now, folks, that's us done. An hour and 10 minutes. I actually really enjoyed this one. It was a definitely way overdue one. We'll get back on. We'll do a couple more next time. What we're going to plan to do, Arn, if it's okay with yourself, is maybe try and bounce on to every signing we do and just focus on the player. So if, for example, we buy a player tomorrow, we'll bounce on and go, listen, new player at Leeds. What's your thoughts? What do you think? What do you know? Blah, blah, blah. And we'll have a wee discussion about it. We'll try and get on a lot more. Again, if players are sold, maybe we'll jump on, have a wee cry. Who knows? Finally, Somerville's gone. But I'm going to make his all, every one of you, I'm going to make his all eat your words when Somerville doesn't leave. That's the way I look at it. I have nothing to lose here. I want him to stay. I think he's going to stay. Right, folks, thank you very much. Leave your comments, like the video, subscribe, get talking, get involved. As of now, folks, good night. Thank you very much from me and Arn. All the best.